expert in treating trauma, increasing numbers of clients sought me out for consultation, asking, "Why am I not getting better? My therapist and I have a wonderful relationship, but none of my symptoms are diminishing. Am I doing the wrong kind of therapy? Or is there something wrong with me?" Time after time, as I heard from clients and therapists what had been tried and failed, I could not find a mistake or a misguided choice of treatment. More often, what could be seen from the consultant's perspective was something both therapist and client could not see. The client was fragmented. What it had taken to adapt was a splitting of self and identity sufficiently severe that the individual's inner world had become a war zone. What I also noticed was the relief these clients experienced as I educated them about dissociative splitting as a normal adaptation to trauma. First, describing to them the theory of structural dissociation, I would then translate their struggles using the language of parts and the language of animal defense survival responses, the cornerstone of the structural dissociation theory. Often, as I spoke, I observed a look of recognition on their faces, as if I were telling them nothing new, but simply giving them a language to describe at long last what they already recognized but had no words to explain. Rather than feeling stigmatized or crazier, the structural dissociation model seemed to be reassuring to them. Its central principle, that splitting had simply allowed them to adapt and survive more successfully in an unsafe world, helped even very proud, narcissistic individuals to experience the fragmentation as a validation of their survival, not further proof of their defectiveness. As I worked in this way with a range of clients, it became increasingly clear that when they adopted or came to love their hurt, lost, and lonely parts, something remarkable happened. Their self-disparagement, self-hatred, and disconnection began spontaneously to yield to self-compassion. Whereas the idea of being nice, taking care of, or being compassionate to themselves was met with disgust and avoidance, every client could be helped to see his or her child parts and to extend kindness and care. And as they developed internal attachment relationships to these young selves, I could see them healing. What it means to heal is subjective, of course. For some clients, it implies the ability to function again, to simply reclaim their lives. But as I observed the clients who began forming loving attachment bonds to their young selves, I could see healing at a much deeper level, seeing them bond with the child they had once been, and feeling their shame and self-hatred melt away, convinced me that the left brain adult side of each one was capable of relating to the right brain child side, experiencing him or her as innocent and little, spontaneously evoking warmth and protectiveness. By bonding to the lost children inside, their internal states transformed, creating a warm, loving environment that felt safe at last. Best of all, it was evident that this work was not only transformative, but also easy for the clients once they learned the basic skills needed to form internal attachment relationships to their parts. The book is intended for use by a wide range of therapists and for an even wider range of clients. In writing it, I hoped particularly to address the challenges faced by chronically traumatized individuals, much like those who have sought me out for consultations. These are clients young and old who battle to recover from their legacies of trauma, confused that these have not resolved despite good therapy, effective treatments, supportive relationships, or even rich, full lives in the present. I also wanted to describe an effective and respectful way of working with traumatized clients who have lost their hope and ability to function, or who depend upon hospitals, families, and loved ones to care for them as they struggle with self-destructive impulses, driving suicidal, self-harming, addicted, or eating disordered behavior. Despite decades of research attesting to the relationship between early abuse and a later diagnosis of borderline personality disorder, it is rare for clients with borderline diagnoses to be treated as trauma patients or to be recognized as individuals whose borderline symptoms